Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beeman of BLS here, and today we are going to be looking at the Brighton to Portsmouth Westcoastway's express route for OpenRails once again. So I'm going to do another video on this route because I feel that it didn't have a very good, well, first look review as it were, with the amount of sort of bugs and glitches that I came across. So we're going to do another scenario. We're going to do another two scenarios. So the first scenario is going to be with the class 421 in Network South East Livery, which is probably the main focal point for the add-on. And then we're going to be exploring the next piece of rolling stock that comes with the add-on, which is the class 375. So first things first, we are going to be obviously turning our headlight on.
Proceed.
As you can hear there, we've just got our right of way from the guard. Going to bring up our track monitor system and our timetable. So we can now depart Littlehampton for Ford, which is our next scheduled stop. So why didn't it let me... that's because I've got the throttle on. There we go. Okay, so let's get our brake released. And off we go. So it's a very, well, rainy, wet weather. So we need to ensure that our window wipers are operating. I mean, well, this model doesn't actually have operational window wipers, so we'll just have to pretend that they are working right now. So if you guys haven't seen my previous video on the Brighton to Portsmouth route, let's post it in the description of the video. So I will post it in the description of the video so you guys can go and have a look. There was some issues with it. A lot of stuff went wrong, and yeah, it wasn't a very good introduction to the route. But as we can see in the bay platform over there, there is the class 375, which is the other piece of rolling stock that comes with the route. So you get the class 421s in a variety of different liveries, Network South East, Connex, etc. So this is sort of based in sort of the late 90s, early 2000s era, where the Connex and Network South East era was still about. And that's one of the reasons why I really like this add-on is the fact that you are basically going back in time to that era, sort of a later, well, the sort of the years when the Southern Region slam door stock were being phased out on British Railways. So yeah, it's a very interesting add-on in that perspective, how you get to drive that. However, I do find that the scenery in a lot of parts on this route itself is very, very bland. It feels like it was a work in progress route that they just thought, oh well, that's good enough, and just released it as it is. It feels very incomplete in some areas. So I'm just going to bring up the briefing briefly. So it says here, drive the 9:56 semi-fast service from Littlehampton to Southampton as far as Cosham, stopping at Ford, Barnum, Chester, Havant and Cosham stations only. So it's a semi-stopper, we're operating a semi-stopper. Obviously our speed limit is 70. We need to start getting a move on actually because we are going to be late. It doesn't give you much time to get to the stations. In fact, we are late already to Ford. Like most MSTS add-ons, they just do not give you sort of any leeway of getting to stations, and the majority of the time you are late. But yeah, the detail on the unit itself is absolutely it's brilliant for the time. Obviously for nowadays it's a bit dated, but for its time it is actually a really good model. I can't lie. And the sound effects of it, in all honesty, are not too bad. So you get two different types of horn. You get the spacebar horn, which is this one here, and then you get the B key horn, which is basically a reversed version of the spacebar horn. Both horns are, I believe, recycled from other DLC within the European Barna list. So the add-on was produced by European Barnum, and yeah, they've produced quite a few little add-ons like London to Brighton, Pageants Field, etc. We are approaching Ford. Slow up and get ourselves sorted out. So the drivability of the unit is very good as well. It's simulated very well. It has some really nice physics. The track work on the route is a little bit to be desired. As you can see here, this incredibly sharp curve. Ooh, yeah. So the track work itself is a bit naff in places. I don't think it is fully accurate to real life. Should have slowed down sooner. We are slightly overshooting. Yeah. Not a good start. I would say this is probably going to be one of my last videos I do on this route, to be honest with you, because I just don't have any good luck with it, to be honest. But yeah, so while we're waiting for the passengers to board, let's just have a little brief look around the unit. So as we can see here, we've got the bogies here, which do look incredibly nice, and as I mentioned in the previous video, it's interesting to see 3D bogies and 3D springs and stuff within MSTS, because that's something that most trains didn't have, obviously for the time period. We've also got 3D jumper cables as well, which just adds to the detail of it. And the overall livery applications of the Network South East Livery is fantastic as well. They've got it pretty spot on in the means of livery. We also have a passenger view on number 5 key, which, as you can see here, is very nicely modelled. We've got the nice moquette on the seats. So this moquette is actually different to the Connex one. So they've actually gone into the detail of having the different passenger views, so they're not all the same, which is, again, another nice feature. I would say that this feature of riding in the passenger compartment was one of the most loved features of MSTS, and that is also one of the reasons why it has carried over to newer gen simulators such as Train Sim World and Train Sim Classic. So we're going to hop back into the cab because we are
to proceed.
Getting the right of way from the guard. So we shall release our brake and get ourselves underway for Barnum. So hopefully at the next station we'll actually be able to stop. Okay, we've got wheel slip. There we go. Yeah, I've noticed that this unit tends to wheel slip a lot, which can be rather annoying. But yeah, so next station is Barnum. We'll stop there. Hopefully we'll be able to stop there a little bit better than that previous station. We can just, like, you know, say that that was a test. It has been a little while since I've driven this, obviously since the previous video. So bear in mind that I filmed the previous video driving this unit, I believe last Tuesday, and it is now Thursday of the following week. So it's been well over a week since I've driven this. So it's just sort of getting used to it again, really. Now the cab interior is okay. It's not the best. It's not like most MSTS add-ons where they have the photo textured cab. This is more of a CGI cab, which isn't to a higher standard compared to other MSTS add-ons. But I do find it enjoyable to drive. You know, it's enjoyable to have this era simulated within a train simulator, because I do find that a lot of stuff in TS Classic tends to be modern era, and it would be nice to see more sort of late 90s, 1980s era routes. within the game. So we're just going to look outside the unit, but as you can see here, especially over in the distance over there, the scenery is very bland. I mean, to be fair, the mist and fog of the poor weather kind of helps to cover it, but on a normal summer's day, the route itself doesn't look incredibly bland. So if anyone's new to my OpenRails series, you can get OpenRails for free. It obviously uses old MSTS content, so dependent on what MSTS add-ons you have, depends on, you know, if you can have that content in the game or not. Some MSTS add-ons are more compatible with the new OpenRails game than others, so you'll find that some of them don't necessarily work properly, probably due to the fact that they're not really compatible with the game. One of which is the Bromley Hive and Dymchurch Railway, which was only ever really a beta release for MSTS, and that does not work very well with OpenRails. Which is a shame, because I have tried to get it to work, but I just cannot get it to work. So, unfortunately, that is one that is unlikely to be featured within this series. So this unit does have a cab light as well. If you press L, as you can see, the cab just lit up slightly a bit more there, which is really kind of cool. Oh, I accidentally pressed the reverser there. Right, so we are coming up to our station, so I am just going to start slowing down soon. I'm going to put ourselves into the retro MSTS view, which I can do by pressing Control 1, and this sort of puts me in that sort of MSTS view perspective, because this is obviously what it would have looked like in MSTS days. You can see our full cab there, and you get better control of the unit when in the cab than on the keyboard, as I'll demonstrate here, and it might actually help me stop in the station properly this time. Yeah, see, as you can see, and as I can feel, I feel that I have better control of the unit by driving it from the cab. There we are. Perfect stop. Fantastic. At least we got that one right. Also got a Connex liveried 421 coming in now. As I say, there's plenty of AI traffic on this add-on as well, which just, you know, it keeps you occupied. It makes you want to drive more. So they've done well with the activities. Okie dokie. Boarding is complete, so we're waiting for the signal to clear ahead. So it's a little bit of a wait here. As we can see, we have another passenger train coming into the station.
Okay to proceed.
And now we've got the okay to proceed. Rightio. Bit of a characteristic tone as we leave the station. Give the Southern Veg something to watch. Rightio. On our way to Havant. Wait, no, it's Chichester, yeah? Got that to come yet, and then it's Havant. There is something like characteristic about a Southern Railway unit in the rain. I think it, you know, it's very atmospheric. Shame we don't actually have proper window wipers working now, but obviously this was made in a time period before they actually had rain on the window screens, so it wasn't really like a major thing to have working window wipers. But even though rain isn't on the window screen, it would still be nice to have some working window wipers. Some MSTS add-ons, don't get me wrong, did have it, and the window wipers would actually work in the cab and the outside, but I believe they were only on the later MSTS add-ons. Stuff like the Making Tracks add-ons and things like that. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you're enjoying my OpenRails series and if there is any other OpenRails / MSTS add-ons that you'd like me to look at. I'm always up for giving it a go. And I really enjoy making this series because it kind of gives me a nostalgia tour and a nostalgia trip back in time to these old retro train simulators, and I really enjoy it. It's good fun. And I hope you guys enjoy watching them too. Lower the power a bit there as we were heading on a downhill gradient. So the route itself travels from Brighton through to Portsmouth, funnily enough. Obviously that is the name of the add-on itself. It is Brighton to Portsmouth, Westcoastway Express. And it is an enjoyable add-on. I enjoy it. It might not be the best in the means of detail and looks wise, because there is other MSTS routes that have better detail in my opinion out there, but for what it is, it's good fun. It recreates an era which is now gone and no longer with us, and that's what I enjoy about it. So as you can see on our track monitor system, you can see the two blue lines on the green sort of track, as it were. That is to indicate that that is the next station. The silver circular items are supposed to be showing me signal aspects, but for some reason on this route that it just doesn't work. So I have to use my own eyes to look out for signals. And obviously you've got my speed, projected speed, and the speed limit, which is 70. So as stated earlier in the video, if anyone is interested in giving OpenRails a go, I will link to the game in the description of the video so you can go and check it out. Yeah, it's worth getting, and I think, you know, for anyone who wants to take a nostalgia trip down memory lane to old MSTS days, it's perfect for that. And also, it does have an inbuilt multiplayer. You can play multiplayer with your friends on your favourite MSTS routes, which is again another really nice feature of OpenRails, and it is done through IP addresses. Yeah, I'd say that this video is going a lot better than our first sort of look at and review of Brighton to Portsmouth, because we're actually seeing more of the route now. Obviously, in the previous video we only really saw Bognor Regis to I can't remember the name. I believe it was... Oh yeah, Bognor Regis to Ford. That's where we got to before. But obviously in this video we're going to see more of the route, more of the stations, and yeah, it kind of gives it a good light. Oh, that was nice, like the rail classer there that we had. I'm just going to speed up slightly because I seem to have slowed down a little bit too early compared to what we probably should have slowed down to. I thought the station was just around this corner. Oh, it's looking quite nice here, I must admit. I'm liking the suburban houses beside the line. It kind of makes me, well, it reminds me of Faversham, where we've spotted the RHTT Class 73s. Although, yeah, there is definitely some bland areas, as we can see. Would have been nice to have some more detail, especially in the gardens and stuff, which Making Tracks managed to do quite well on the London South East route. Moving over another unit there. So there is plenty of AI traffic to spot. Doesn't have a boring set of scenarios. Another NSC one. Obviously a lot of the stations are photo textured. Obviously back in these days that was like the best thing we had. Is Cheshire. I can't say the name of this station. But yeah, the stations themselves are most likely easily recognisable, because that's one thing I would say about MSTS is that they do tend to model the stations very well. Oh look, we've got a Class 375 coming in now. Oh look, the window wiper's actually working on that unit. So,
okay to proceed.
Okay, we've got an okay to proceed. So that's interesting. So the 421 doesn't have operational window wipers, but the 375 does. That's sad. Considering that the 421s are the main focal point and on the front cover of the route DLC. But yeah, at this time period, the 375s would be brand new units, like literally only just outshopped. So these would be the most modern units for the time period model. Right. Oh, wheel slip occurring. I hate it when that happens. There we go, put some sand on the rails. That was sorted. Oh, I'm doing it again! Oh, I hate that sound. I wish, like, when it did the wheel slip occurring thing, it wouldn't do that stupid din 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 sound, because, you know, that's not really realistic, is it? Stop it. Okay, so our next station is Havant. So if this is your local area and you're, you know, local to Addon and stuff like that, the Westcoastway, let me know in the comments and let me know if this route is pretty accurate to what it is today. I mean, chances are there's probably a lot of things that are inaccurate. I mean, for example, there's no line-side fencing or anything at all, and it is very bland in places. But despite that, like the stations and stuff, I would imagine are pretty accurate. But yeah, this is just like showing off some of the really bland areas here, look. Nice to see some stock in the sidings though. Oh look, we've got a Southern liveried 421 over there. Yeah, so I believe in this route pack you get Network South East, Connex and Southern for the 421. And then obviously for the 375 it's just the standard Southern Railways livery, which is still around today. I'm liking the traffic as well, like on the main roads and motorways and stuff, that, you know, fast-paced traffic, a lot of a mixture, a variety of different like cars and buses and trucks, and just adds to the detail. Okay, so we're going through this station, not stopping here. Let's see if we can get a 4 camera on the station. There we are, my lords. Through Fishbourne. I believe there was a terrier named Fishbourne. I mean, just look at this, it's very bland here. Ugh. It's an incomplete area. I feel it's incomplete. So, this next station, I believe we're not stopping here either, because there is no indication on my track monitor system to say that we are stopping here either. So once again, we're going to be speeding past another station. Cosham. Very nice. So I hope, like, you guys who are local to the area are seeing these locations and recognising them, because, you know, at the end of the day, whoever modelled this has tried to do a good job at making the Westcoastway. Slightly speeding, so I'm going to come off the power now. There's another train up ahead. We're going to be speeding past our next station. Station's this end. This is Nutbourne. It's quite cool doing a semi-stopper. Quite enjoying this. As I say, when you get into this, and when you actually drive the route itself, scenarios-wise, it's actually good fun. You get into it quite quickly. Now be speeding through yet another station. Southbourne. Another passenger service taken by 421 in Network South East. Now we can see our next station stop has now appeared on our track monitor system. Just need to make sure that we slow down in good time as we approach Havant. So I will make sure I come off the power now and just let the train do its work and start slowing down, coasting towards our location. again, another station that we are flying through. This is Emsworth. We've also got another passenger train approaching the station and most likely calling at it. There it is. Starting to slow up as we are approaching Havant in about a mile. Got our banner repeater there. I don't think this station is Havant. No, this is another genuine station. Just make sure that we speed up slightly. Because we're not having just yet. What station is this then? I can tell. Warblington. Oh, that's a nice church on the hill. Okay, so our next station stop will be Havant. Oh, tree! Whoa! It's got hit in the face. This is Havant. I do like the sound of the rain on the windscreen. That's done very well in this. Oh, it's one of these stations where they have the through lines through the middle. That's pretty cool. We are in the station. And there we are. Haven't. I mean, there's not much detail on the surroundings. In fact, there's barely anything at all, really. But, yeah, this is Havant Station. Probably recognisable.
Okay to proceed.
Yeah, do like it. Interesting style of station. Sander on. Wheel slipping again. Stop! Stop wheel slipping. Very, very slow acceleration speed on this unit, I must admit. Here we have 375 again. So at this time period you can see that the most common source of motive power were the 421s. You would get the occasional 375s because obviously they were brand new at this time. And yeah, it's an interesting era to model, and as I say, I enjoy playing it. So we're now passing through the next station, which is Bedhampton. So there's plenty of stations to enjoy on this add-on. So in total it has 33 detailed original stations, realistic rebuilt landscapes, detailed signalling, detailed rolling stock, and 15 activities. So there is plenty to enjoy within this add-on. See, if you're a southern man and you like your southern railways, this is definitely the add-on for you. So as you can see on my track monitor system, we have a 30-mile-an-hour limit coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off of the power, just make sure that I slow up for that 30-mile-an-hour speed restriction. I also believe that the signal up ahead may be red because I believe the last one that I just saw was a yellow. So we just need to make sure that we slow up and ensure that our route ahead is clear. As you can see, guys, from when I first drove this unit at the beginning of the video to when I'm driving it now, you get so much better control when you're driving the unit from the cab than you do from the keyboard. Okay, so we have got a green, that's good. We've got a feather as well. That's obviously why we've got a 30-mile-an-hour limit, because we are coming off the main line, branching off to somewhere else. Oh, what is this track work? Some of the track work in places is awful. Right, so it does have a 70-mile-an-hour limit here, but we're not going to go too overboard with that because our station is only just around the corner. So I'm going to speed up ever so slightly, but we need to make sure that we do stop in the next scheduled stop. So we've got a double yellow there. The station should be just around this corner. And it is our final destination for this scenario. Oh dear, very bland over here. There's virtually no scenery at all here. So this is obviously like the very end of the route. where they hadn't done any sort of scenery work at all. This is Cosham, and our final cooling place for this activity. And there we are. Put ourselves into neutral, into emergency, shut down our cab. So this is Cosham. Not much here at all, to be honest. Very bland. Not really much to see. But yeah, so that is our look at the Class 421. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to an activity for the Class 375 and have a look at that. Okay guys, so welcome to the second part of this video, which is to take a Class 375 from West Worthing to Brighton. So in this activity you must take a 3-car 375 unit on the 8:20 service from West Worthing to Brighton, stopping at all stations. Services are running slightly late this morning and the semi-fast Portsmouth to Brighton service has only just passed. You will have to wait for it to clear West Worthing before you can enter the station. When the activity starts, wait for the ground signal to change and then pull forward into West Worthing station. Okay, let's have a look at the ground shunt. Okay, it is actually showing a clear aspect, so we can actually depart now. So what we're going to do is I'll put ourselves into forward gear and stop ourselves into the station platform and then take a little look around the unit before we depart. So that's what we are going to do. Rightio, off we go. Let's get our track monitor system up and our timetable so we can see exactly where we're going. So, like reality, the Electrostars have a combined brake and power handle. So, obviously, we can take power like so, and then we put it into the neutral position. And then if we pull it back, it will start braking. So here we are pulling into West Worthing station. You can see here that the next signal aspect is at red. So we need to make sure that we stop in the station in good time. We're only on a 3-car service, so we won't have to actually stop too far into the station. But as you can see, I'm now braking, and the combined power and brake handle is coming into good use. Now what's interesting about the 375 is the braking is actually much better than the 421. So they have actually got that simulation aspect within this add-on, which is great to see. So let's have a little brief look around the unit. So this is the Class 375 MSTS model, which, I mean, to be fair, it's not the best. The texturing on it is incredibly, well, shite. Yeah, it's just not very good. The weird thing is the actual warning flashes and warning stickers are actually more higher quality than the actual body textures, which kind of makes it look incredibly weird. But one of the interesting things about this model, even though it doesn't actually look as good as the Class 421, it does actually have working windscreen wipers, unlike the 421, which is really bizarre considering that the model itself doesn't look as good. It does have a passenger camera, but once again, it's a bit hit and miss. It is not the best model within the game, let's put it that way.
Okay to proceed.
So we've got the okay to proceed by our guy, but before we do that, I'm just going to take a quick photograph of this unit for the thumbnail of the video. Okay, so now we've got the thumbnail sorted, we can depart and onwards to West well, just to Worthing. So this is a stopping passenger, so we'll be stopping at all stations so we can have a good look around them. That does not sound like a Class 375. Okay, so the sounds are wrong. It should have a more sort of squealing sound than what we're hearing right now. To be honest, the sounds sound like the default electric unit that you get within MSTS, which is that Japan unit. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it sounds like that. Just the standard Acceler Express and stuff like that that you get with the game. So the speed limits here are actually pretty slow. Actually, we're supposed to be going 20 miles an hour, so we are actually overspeeding slightly. So we need to make sure that we are going the correct speed. So, as we approach the crossing, let's have a little listen to our horns. So we should horn as well. Sometimes they horn as they go over crossing. So, in this case, that's exactly what we're going to do. So, we're going to do the space bar horn first. So let's have a listen. Yeah, that sounds like an Electrostar horn. That's pretty accurate for the real-life prototype. Now, what's interesting about the B key horn, and I've noticed this on this unit, is it doesn't actually work in the cab. So if I press B, as you can hear, it does nothing. However, if we go to the outside and we press B, we have the B key horn, which is clearly recycled from the Making Tracks Great Eastern route. And if you listen to the actual recording itself, it is actually the same horn as the Class 421. But it's literally just been changed and lowered in pitch on the 421 to obviously resemble the more sort of deeper southern horn, but it's not entirely accurate, to be honest. So the braking is definitely a lot more better on the 375 than it is on the 421, but I suppose that is realistic because obviously the brakes on a 421 is probably not as good as the modern 375s. So this is Worthing, and we can see that bland map coming into play again. But the buildings themselves are actually pretty cool. I mean, yeah, the photo texturing looks a bit naff. It's not like to modern day standards, but it doesn't bother me too much. I quite like photo textures myself.
Okay to proceed.
Okay, so we've got an okay to proceed. Our 41 has now left Worthing, so we now have the right of way to East Worthing. So we seem to be going for a lot of Worthings at the moment, don't we? So one of the things that can get quite confusing about this game is the controls for the throttle. So, as most of you are aware, TS Classic, for the throttle, it's A to apply power and D to decrease power. In OpenRails and MSTS, it's actually reversed. So it's actually D to apply power and A to decrease power. Which is really bizarre because you wouldn't think that, would you? Because, you know, A is kind of the letter for apply and D is kind of the letter for decrease. But hey ho, it's just what MSTS was. So they got their key binds back to front. As you can see here, we're now passing another 375. Hello. Let's see what the horn sounds like on the exterior. Yeah, not too bad. It sounds like an Electrostar horn. Can't knock it. So here we are approaching East Worthing. So our AWS doesn't seem to work in here. It's sort of like flashes, but it doesn't seem to do anything else. God, this is a tough station to stop at. I've overshot it slightly, but we're in East Worthing. That's something, I suppose. Here we are. So this could be quite a challenging scenario because some of these platforms are actually really short. I take it that's why we have only a 3-car train. Yeah, that is interesting. As I say, I'm still getting used to how this thing drives. This is literally the first time I've driven the 375 in this add-on. I mean, I've given it a brief look at, but I've never actually driven it properly, so this is a first for me. But yeah, the simulation of units and locomotives within OpenRails and MSTS
Okay to proceed.
Acts a lot differently to TS Classic. Obviously the physics are completely different. I don't know whether they're better or worse. Some locos and units act very nicely while some others act really bad. I suppose you kind of get that same issue within TS Classic as well, where some operate and drive realistically while others are a bit naff. So our next station is Lancing, which is in 1.5 miles, so it's literally just not that far from here at all. For this service, I don't think it's wise for me to actually go line speed, because I'll probably find myself struggling to slow down and come to a halt in the next stations. So even though it says that we can go 70 mile an hour, doesn't mean we have to go 70 mile an hour. But we are already late, like 1 minute, because as usual with MSTS, they don't give you enough leeway between stations. So you're pretty much always late. If you're on time with an activity and you get it like bang on time, then you're some kind of genius or professional, because it is literally impossible to keep the time in MSTS by like the experience that I've had with it. See here that in this particular scenario the 375s appear to be more common than the 421s, so this scenario may have been set on a different date to our previous scenario, and this is where the slam door stock has been phased out almost certainly by this point. You only get the odd occasional one sometimes. Yes, this is quite challenging, I must admit. Got to be careful with stopping in these platforms, because you don't really have much space when you're stopping. You don't want to spad, otherwise, well,
Okay to proceed.
you'll be screwed. Okay, so the next station is Shoreham by Sea, so this will probably be, well, a seaside place because it says by the sea. I believe this cab interior is photo textured. This one isn't CGI. So it again has something that is slightly better than the 421. But the model itself, texture-wise, yeah, it's not the best, is it? Let's be honest. At least it has the brake discs modelled though, and the wheels actually turn. You can see the animations. A bit bumpy though. Very, very bland scenery here. Ugh. As I say, definitely a WIP route that has just been released. Just, you know, they just thought, oh, it's good enough, we'll release it. I am slowing up because there is a station coming up soon. Got a yellow on the aspect. Ew, what is that water? Is that meant to be water? Looks more like coal or something to me, but yeah, that's very interesting. The station must be just round this corner then. Can't see it yet though. We're like severely late now though, we're like 2 minutes late. There it is. Yeah. The traction motor sounds are definitely not of a 375. Like, the overall sounds of it are not accurate at all. So, can we see the sea? Because it's supposed to be obviously by the sea, so it's got to be a seaside somewhere or something. But no, we can't see the sea. So yes, if anyone's been to Shoreham by the sea, let me know where the sea should be, and if this station looks like it, like in reality. So yeah, that's Shoreham by the sea. Got quite a nice signal box asset there though. Yeah, texturing looks a bit naff here and there, but photo texture bit looks nice.
Okay to proceed.
Okay to proceed. Off we go. there is our control moving there. The next station is Southwick. Which is 1.6 miles away. Once again, I'm not going to do line speed, so I'm going to slow up here because we're not actually that far from Southwick. Scenery here looks very samey, like just kind of very repetitive, like you've got the same tree, just like copied and pasted over and over again. Here we are at Southwick, which looks like a station in the middle of nowhere, to be perfectly honest. Is it going to slow down, or is it going to do that thing like the 421 did in the first video where it just doesn't slow up? Look at it. Okay, so the brakes are actually crap on this as well. I take it back, the brakes are not very good on this. Sometimes they work nicely and sometimes they just don't. I mean, look at this. That was in 99% applied. So that was one off emergency. And it slowed up like that. Yeah, not the best. It's like this game just wants you to slam it into emergency to actually get stuff to stop. Bear in mind I was only going like, I don't know, 20 miles an hour? Should slow down quicker than that coming into the station. Considering I started, you know, you guys saw where I started slowing down.
Okay to proceed.
Right, so off we go again. Any time today would be nice, you know. Just release. Right, there we go. Okay, so there really is not much of a distance to go to Fisher's Gate, so... Yeah, so I think after this video we're going to give Brighton to Portsmouth a break. We're not going to do another video on this for quite some time, if that ever. Because I think we've pretty much covered the entirety of the route now, and its rolling stock. And there's not really much else that we need to see on it. Unless, of course, you guys want me to drive the Southern liveried Class 421, which is probably the only like unit or piece of rolling stock I haven't yet featured on the channel. Oh, so now the brakes are working fine. Yeah, see, the brakes seem to be a bit hit and miss on this thing. So this is Fish's Gate. This isn't actually a station in the middle of nowhere. We actually have some houses around it, so that's something, and some pylons. I mean, to be fair, they've actually put a little bit of effort into Fish's Gate. Okay to proceed. Yeah. Oh, apart from over that side. So, the left-hand side actually looks pretty decent, but the right-hand side looks terrible. Rightio, on to the next stop, which is Portslade. So you probably noticed that I've actually been driving the unit via the keyboard this time. That's because, to be fair, using the keyboard on this isn't too bad. And I think, to be fair, using the mouse in here might be a little bit more fiddly, but I will try it at the next station, to be fair, just to give it a try and see how what it's like. Yeah, to be fair, that's a bit annoying. So I'm going to use the keyboard on this one. Here we are, Portslade. Gotta love the old sound of the level crossing, that sort of creaking sound that it makes. Classic MSTS audio. Okay, them doors look very close together, don't they? That's interesting looking house.
Okay to proceed.
Yeah, and that is Portslade, which kind of looks like Ryde Esplanade from the Isle of Wight, but hey ho. Onwards to Aldrington. Or Aldrington, however you pronounce it. Footbridge is quite nice. almost on a downhill gradient, so... See, the brakes are actually working decently now. Look, I'm in 40% and it's actually slowing down quite quickly. So yes, they are a little bit hit and miss. Some sort of weird thing going on there. Yeah, see, they're not working very well again. Now they're working well again. Very unusual. See, I've overshot again. This is really annoying. I don't like these brakes at all. 1 minute they act differently to the next. It's... So we're now waiting for a signal ahead to clear, so we're obviously waiting for another passenger service up ahead to clear the section for us to head up to Hove. It's either that or there is a passenger train heading over a junction ahead of us, and that is the reason why we are waiting here. I can see something up ahead coming. Looks like it's on our line. It's probably while we're waiting. Is that a 421? Could be a 421. Sounds like it by the squeakiness of the flanges.
Okay to proceed.
Okay, so we've got our okay to proceed. So, now we release our brake and get underway to Hove. Okay, so we've established that the brakes on the 375 are very hit and miss, and we've also found out that driving the 421 efficiently is ideally from the cab and not the keyboard, because the brakes work better when you're driving the 421 from the cab than they do from the keyboard. But yet the brakes on this thing, the 375, are very hit and miss. So as I say, the brake physics on this add-on is a bit unusual, to say the least. Arriving into Hove. I mean, to be fair, this route would be ideal for like class 33 haulage. This is sort of like 33 territory, isn't it? I wonder how you make activities in OpenRails. That would be really cool to know how to do that. Do like Crompton rail tours and stuff on here. I mean, you got the free roam explore route feature, but you don't have AI traffic in it. Okay, so this is Hove, and to be honest with you, that is a wonderful shot, and I'm going to get a screenshot while I can, because that is a lovely view.
Okay to proceed.
Okay, so we've got our right away from the guard, so we can now depart Hove for Brighton, which is our last port of call in this activity and our last part of our video today. So yeah, Hove station looks really quite nice, to be fair. It's got that sort of southern region feel, you know, it's a free platform station actually. yeah, it is pretty nice. But yeah, I had to take a photograph of old and new in a sense together because that was a very, very nice shot. Passing another 375. Oh, and another 375. My lords, okay, there's a bit of a queue into Hove. Busy, busy, busy. Okay, so we are on the approach to Brighton now. I'm going to start slowing up as we head into the tunnel. Give us a little toot on the horn as we go through. There is a red signal up ahead. Okay, I should have anticipated this. No! No! This is why you need to be careful when coming into a main station. Yep, I am afraid I have failed the scenario. What a shame. Right at the end as well. Oh dear. This is why you've got to be careful and you've got to start slowing up when you're coming into a main station early. But I mean, to be fair, there wasn't any speed limits into here, so it was quite misleading. But yeah, but that sucks. That's just, oh, what a shame. Hey ho, this is Brighton anyway. We're at the end now, so we're going to have a little look round. This is the 421 in the Southern livery, which, to be fair, does look pretty smart, doesn't it? It was quite short-lived, I imagine, because, you know, these things were out of action not too long after this period was set. Yeah, we've got here, look, Brighton to Portsmouth, Westcoastway Express. I mean, that's a horrible-looking textured banner there, but I mean, the artwork is nice, but it's very low res. We've got an Oasis drink there, which is really cool, and some Coca-Cola. I mean, if you put that on vending machines these days in a payware route, you would get shot. But yeah, obviously back then in the early 2000s when this route was made, it didn't matter as much. But yeah, Brighton Station, the interior itself is really, really basic. Very basic block textures, not very realistic at all. Not much in the means of detail around here. There'll probably be more detail in real life around here, but as you can see, it's not the best and most detailed thing in the world. But yeah, so I think that's it now. Obviously, as we had a bit of a situation coming into Brighton and spadded. So I think that's the end of my reviews on the Westcoastway Express add-on Brighton to Portsmouth. We haven't really had the best of luck with it, have we? I mean, we've overshot stations, we've had issues with signalling and all sorts of bits and pieces going wrong with it. But during my journey in looking into this old classic add-on, it has been interesting. I've really enjoyed sort of going back in time and seeing what this is all about and kind of experiencing the old sort of slam door Connex era of railways. So yes, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. This has been Samuel Beeman of BLS. Comment, like and subscribe, and yeah, let me know in the comments if there is any other OpenRails MSTS add-ons that you would like to see and you'd like to see me review. Thank you for watching. It's a goodbye from me and a goodbye for now.